In any case, someone installed the HANA system. If you don't know the instance number, so when you go to the OS level folder, so like CD, USR, SAP, SID, under that you will see the HDB instance number. So HDB and the instance number, same how we have SAP like DB, BMGS, international ASCS instance number, D00 instance number, right? Same like that here also. SAP HANA, when you install the HANA database, it will create the HDB space, HDB instance number, not the space. So based on that, we can add the systems into the your studio, right? So SAP Linux 1, so is the host name. So here instance number 55 system. So system DB I'm adding here, right? Okay. So then yes, so I have added the system DB. So you can use any database which you want to connect it, like, but better you all connect to the one database there, that is S4H, whatever it may be. You can connect to the one database so that it should be so performance wise and testing wise when we're practicing, so that would be good actually, instead of installing multiple databases, right? So these are the so tenants and system DB we have, right? So yesterday we discussed about up to configuration tab, the parameter changes, volumes, performance tab, alerts, all these things we discussed yesterday, right? So landscape, alerts, performance, volumes, and configurations. Suppose if you want to change any configuration in your system, we need to check the go to configuration tab. Suppose you want to change the index server related parameters, you can go to the index server.ini. So global.ini, doc server, whatever it may be. So you can change the process related parameters. You can change it by changing the details here, right? So this is the process configuration and volumes, performance. This and all we discussed yesterday, right? The next one, configuration tab, configuration. Today we are going to discuss about the configurations, right? Sorry, information. So what is mean by system information tab here? So what and all the things we can see here in the system information tab? In the system information tab, you can see, so all are the predefined system statement, predefined system statement. Suppose in your HANA system, you need some details. Suppose like you need blocked transactions. Just right click and execute it. It will show the results if there are any blocked transactions. Normally, where can we see the blocked transactions? In the performance tab, blocked transactions. Here we will go and here we will check the all the blocked transactions and everything, right? So here, right? The same time, if you want to check, you need a statement wise, then you can go here, just right click and execute it. You will get the results. These results you can export into the one text file or HTML file, just you can export it. Then you can send to the one manager or whoever are asking, you can check it, right? You want to check the from caches, right click and you can just execute it. All the caches will be displayed here. How many entries are there caches? Suppose you want to check the sessions, how many sessions are there, right click and execute it. Automatically, so it will display the report. One report will be displayed, how many sessions are there. So one session is running, which is my session in the current database. Then export. So delimited text file or HTML file or XML file, just you can export it, then export to the your command, the file name, your desktop or whatever downloads folder. Then you can send it to the your management also, you can send it to them, right? Like that, we can do the any statement. It's kind of predefined SQL statement. Suppose you want to see the size of the tables on the disk. Disk means in the data folder. So what are the size? How many tables are there? So here we can see how many tables are there. We can see inactive objects and active objects. So many are there here. So many table entries are there. Size, you can see the size here, right? So you can see the size of the table size and everything you can find out from here, right? So this way we can find out the information, right? And also you can also check the workload. You want to see the overall workload of the systems. Then if you execute it, it will show the workload, right? And also sessions, size. So anything, any list of the transactions which are executing in the system. What are the currently these are the connections, transaction IDs are in progress, all are active status, all are executional connections, these are executing, right? So these are the things in place in the system. These are the things in place, right? So and also, so table locks, sessions, anything you want to execute, you can see here. So why you are getting means SAP, each and every statement, there is a one SQL statement, each and every statement normally. So that statement will execute and it will show the results to you. So if you just check, if you are getting the cache, you just right click, and if you go to the open SQL console, you will get the statement, SQL statement, what is getting executed here. We can also execute the same statement from our side also. So, but here SAP already provided the predefined SQL statements. Just execute it, you will get the results. Then you can send to the respective person who is asking or everything. Then you can send the respective person, system information. System information. In the name itself, you have see the details, system information, system related information are available in this one, right? System information. Anything from the system you can find out by pulling the report, right? Here, this is the system information. The next one is the diagnosis files. Diagnosis files means by default, DB trace is enabled in the database level. In the SAP level, where the SAP related log files and trace files will be stored? In which location? SAP related trace files, work directory, right? Work directory. In the work directory, you can see the all the SAP log files and everything, right? In the SAP, in the HANA side, you can see here in the, so in the studio level, in the trace directory, which means in the diagnosis files tab, here we can find out the trace of the all the process like index server, access engine. If we go to the system DB, in the system DB remaining 5 trace files. Trace files means log files. So each and every action of the process, like if we go to the here diagnosis files, here you can see the, so name server, daemon, dispatcher, preprocessor, compile server, all the process related files are available here. All the process related log files are available here. So what and all the things we can see here. Suppose you want to check index server details, what is happening with the index server. You can check the index server log file here. You can check it out. Index server log file here. You can check the index server log file, right? Index server log file. You can check in the systems. What is happening in the system? All the information you can check from the systems. So what is happening? Are there any errors, critical errors in the systems? 17, 18. So each and time to time, the information will be displayed in the system. So based on this, we can assume we don't have any issues, or we have issues or not, we can find out. So SAP level, we have the work directory, right? So USR, SAP, SID, D instance number work directory. In that work directory, we can see the dev_work process log files. That is the SAP related. What about the HANA related log files? HANA related troubleshooting log files. So if you go to the here in the trace directory, or you can go to the HANA Studio. So in the HANA Studio, you have the diagnosis files, right? Diagnosis files. In the diagnosis files tab, here we can find out the what the errors we have in the systems. Suppose web dispatcher, what's happening with the my web dispatcher things and everything. Okay, all the information we can see here, right? And also we can see the like preprocessor, so web dispatcher, name server. So what's happening with the name server? What are the statements is executed in the name server? So all these things we can see in the systems, right? Index server, tables. So all the information, each and every process related. So if the one process is running means here, so there is a log file, each and everything, there is a log file. In that log file, you can find out the what is exactly that work process is being doing here. Okay. So it is doing in the system. Is it responding any errors, anything? So here most important things are the tenant DB, because all the business data stores in the tenant DB only, right? Tenant database only. In the tenant DB, so we have in the tenant DB we have so index server and access engine. So index server related log files we can find out from here. Index server.trc and access engine.trc. Loads, what are the loads are happening, table loads, and what are the unloads, table unloads, what are the statements are executing in the system, we can find out what are the statements are executing. So all the information we can find out from the systems, all the details, log files, everything. So when the issue comes, we need this log files to find out the information. Or sometimes SAP will ask you to, so suppose you are unable to fix the issue, then you contacted the SAP vendor. So they asked you to provide the logs of your system. Then you can collect the logs. Maybe you can collect the diagnosis information. Suppose if you want to collect the diagnosis information, all logs will be collected. Suppose you want to collect for the June 10th to suppose 11th. Suppose I want to 11th, last 7 days or 5 days, whatever it may be. So suppose we can just filter the timelines and we can get the details. You can get the details. You can filter it out and you can get the details. So you can just pull it out. The collecting the dump here, logs are collecting here. Based upon the timestamp, we can collect the diagnosis information in the systems. So merge diagnosis, all the files will be merged. So last 24 hours, all the files will be merged into export. Suppose you want to export into the ECV, you can just export to the CSV file also, you can export it, right? And also you can see the delete. Suppose you want to delete the one log file you want to delete it, just select it and delete it. So the log files will be deleted. See here, the log files will be deleted. So this is the way we can find out the diagnosis files. So diagnosis files means log system log files, either the information, warnings, not only just only errors, all the information will write, including errors, warnings, and everything. So based upon the issue, based upon the timelines, we need to take the respective action. We have to take it out in the diagnosis files. In the diagnosis files, you need to take the respective action. That is the thing of the. So that is the agenda main of the here. The index server log files and diagnosis files, right? System information, system related any statement or any data you need, we can get it out. Diagnosis information means the process related log files. In HANA, we have the 7 core process. All these process related core files we can pull from the diagnosis files. Suppose when we go to the hospital, so the doctor will not suggest any treatment, right? First he will diagnosis first he will diagnosis, right? For that one, we need some reports, right? So he will ask us to check some blood test, get the blood test, some other test reports. Then after checking the log files, after checking the report, it kind of diagnosis report. After checking the report, then he will come to know one conclusion. Same as like here also, after checking the diagnosis files, then we will come to know one conclusion. Okay, our assumption are correct. Why system is slow yesterday? Why system is not starting? All the information. So it will track under in the index server trace files and so in the diagnosis files. Okay. So any questions from anyone here? Any confusion? Is it clear?
Here, just two only services servers are there. Remaining all it's not there in here. Only index and access engine only there.
Why?
Yeah, you see that index and server and access and the remaining are not there here.
Yeah, you tell me the reason.
It is tenant based.
Hey,
it is an tenant based.
The tenant, what are the services are there in the tenant?
Okay.
Got it?
Yes.
Yeah, right. So if you see here, if I go to the system DB, you have all name, server history, loads, everything. So everything all are available here. Just I'm in the tenant, you can see the only tenant related information. Suppose you did something about the here, immediately it will be tracked. Suppose if I stop the something, any service here, if I stop the any web dispatcher, any service, if I stop it, so if I stop it, so immediately it will be tracked under the your log file, it will be tracked here. So if you go to the systemdb, so diagnosis files, so web dispatcher log file, right? Web dispatcher alerts. So maybe alerts information, what is mentioned in the alerts information. The process has been started. Has not run. So forcefully. So all the kind of, so everything we are doing thing, right? So from 16th onwards, we are testing, restarting, starting, all these things. Everything will be tracked here, right? So not only here, we can set web dispatcher trace. Where is the trace? So the trace information. Okay. So dev underscore web dispatcher trace. We go to the trace, here clearly it will show service is started. Service is started by the daemon process ID. As we discussed, right? So if anything wrong with this process, right? Immediately daemon will go and start the related process. Daemon will go and start the related process in the systems. Right? That is what here it will do. So what we did is we stopped the system actually, right? We killed the web dispatcher process here. So stopping, see here, the log files are generating here. At what time you are stopped disabling, stopping, deleting process ID, stopped, called. See here, who called the stopped, who stopped it. See here, I stopped the process. Everybody don't know, no one don't know except me. Why? Because I stopped it with my user, I know, right? You want to find out the information who stopped it, what. So if you go to the system, here you can check so everything is okay, fine. Here everything is okay. But if you see the log file here, 8/17/7/2049 service stop. The user, service, the user. So application, he is the administrator user. He logged in with the administrator user. It's me, right? Away connected through HANA Studio. Stop called from the system. The rate of Linux, which one the process ID command HB user. So this person, so what from by checking these two statements, what we can assume? So as part of the troubleshooting, so what we can assume? So the one person, one of our colleague or our guy, he logged into the application username is system user at OS level jump server he connected. He is used the HANA DB Studio. Then he did the stop. He did the stop from system user. So he did the stop just to execute the stop system, right? That is what we did it. Then it is notified to the name server for about the system shutdown, right? So system shutdown, the dispatcher down initiated. Then down web dispatcher is stopped. All the process deletion ports, everything is freed up now. Now again, see here immediately within fraction of 2 milliseconds, immediately the daemon will not wait. So what is the daemon work? If any process is in the sick status or faulty status in the database language, immediately this daemon process will go and start that process. Daemon will go and try to retry for multiple times, retry the multiple times. If it is starting, fine. It is not starting, then daemon also will be stopped and entire system will go down status. Entire system will go down status only. So that is what here happened here. That is what here happened here. Same we can see the log file stopping the starting the systems. That is what here it's happened in the systems. Okay. So that is what, like that we need to do the some investigation. Suppose someone asking your tentative DB is very slow every day at night 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. It's very slow, right? Every day it is slow. It is slow every day it is slow. So what exactly it mean? Every day it is slow means what exactly it means? So we need to check what is happening with the index server. What is happening with the index server? Then go to the index server means systemdb. Go to the systemdb trace. So index server. So then here the trace file. Open the trace file. Then see. So backup. So backup need to be ensured. There is no backup. So suppose here only present dates log files are there here. Then you can check the old log files also. Previous date log files also available here. Suppose dump RT dump file is generated, some transaction is blocked. So Then history underscore dot old log files are available here. Just open, then see what's happening with the system. So all the information is tracked here. So everything, when something goes wrong with the process, maybe index server is the main process here, right? So we need to check the log files and everything. Even though the logs are not enough much to investigate the current issue. So logs are not generating much. Why? Because so by default, only default trace log files are generated. You need more logs to troubleshoot the issue. In that case, go to the trace configuration. You have the trace configuration. You have the trace configuration. Go to the trace configuration. Then here you can see here the database trace, user specific trace, performance trace, SQL trace, any trace. Suppose you want to check the any trace, you can collect the trace information from the database level. Database trace are all these things, right? The database trace. Suppose by default DB trace is enabled. That's why default database trace is enabled. That's the reason you see the all the log files are generating, right? Additionally, you want some SQL trace, some SQL statement to find out the what is happening. Then you can activate the SQL trace level. Then okay, then finish. Then the SQL statement is active here. So means additionally you will get the SQL statement. You want to check the performance trace. The performance trace, system performance is very slow. It's running very slow. The time you want to check what is causing the issue, then you can just start the tracing. You can just enable the tracing, then click on the next finish button, then the trace will be active. The performance trace will be active. Like that user specific trace, user specific trace. So whatever the trace you want to generate it, so whatever the trace you need additionally, that trace we can find out from here, right? You want a specific user. Suppose one specific user, every day one specific user is creating the nuisance in the systems. So who is that user? Suppose maybe user trace something like that. I am putting the trace name. So who is that user? We know the username also. DB user system, and the application user is the administrator, or so Ravi user. Just example I have given. So this user is creating the nuisance in the system. I just to configure the tracing here, right? Here trace is configured. So now whatever that person will do in the system, whatever that person will do the system in the system, that will be so tracked here. That will be tracked, and we can easily find out the trace file. All the trace files will be located in the here only in the trace directory. See here more are generated here. More log file. Previously we have only less, now more are generated. Why? Because we have enabled the trace configuration, performance configurations and everything, right? The more log files are generated here. So by checking this one, logs will get more log files you will get. Based on that, our troubleshooting is we can do our troubleshooting very fast. We can do our troubleshooting, and we will get the some evidences. We will get the some evidences. Okay, so this is the way we need to find out the this is the way we need to find out the trace log files and everything, trace and log files, so everything here. Okay, so okay, so this is the trace information. In case any case, so the existing logs are not enough to prove the what is causing the issue, then you can come to the trace configuration. Then you can enable whatever. Suppose you want to use a specific trace, you want to performance trace, SQL statement trace, expensive statements and long running SQL statements. Some whatever the statements you want to trace, open it, you can open it. So sometimes they may ask you questions like, how can you enable the trace? Then you can come. So what are the traces can be activated using the trace configuration? Database trace, SQL trace, performance trace, end-to-end traces, and expensive long-running statements. This will be more useful actually. So this trace in the organization, every organization, they will activate the expensive statements. Why? Because in the database level, every transaction will execute in the form of the SQL statements only. If you put active the SQL statements, if any SQL statement is running from longer duration, that will be tracked here. That SQL statement will be tracked here. So that SQL statements will be generated here. So something like expensive statement, something like that. If I refresh it, so it will be tracked here. The expensive statements will be tracked here. So based on that, we can find out the error. Based on that, we can find out the error, what is causing and everything, all the information we can find out in the systems. So what is causing, what statement is running from the long time, and all the durations, timestamp, HANA Studio, who is executing what, all the information will be collected here. Okay, so it's not only just checking the, suppose if any issue comes, we need to check and we need to find out the error, what is exactly it means. So all the information so will be available in the here. So these 3 tabs especially for the logs only, system information, diagnosis, only troubleshooting areas time we will get these tabs. So at that time, so we need to investigate what is causing the issue and all the information we need to check. So that is the HANA Studio tabs here. HANA Studio tabs. So any questions from anyone regarding the all these tabs?
Sir,
Yes.
ట్రేస్ కాన్ఫిగరేషన్ లో అన్ని ట్రేస్ ఇన్యాక్టివ్ లోనే ఉండాలా? ఇవే ప్రతి అంటే ఎవ్రీ టైం యాక్టివ్ లో ఉండాలని ఏమైనా ఉంటుందా?
అదేం ఉండదు అంటే ఇట్స్ డిపెండ్స్ అపాన్ ది యువర్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్. సపోజ్ one side one day, maybe today morning you got the one P1 ticket because of the one index server is crashed or something like that, name server is crashed, something, you got the one P1 incidents. But when you are checking the logs, diagnosis files, you could not able to find out much information here. So what SQL statements and everything, what caused the issue and everything. So that time, so what is the next item to avoid this type of issues? Just you will enable the trace. If you enable the trace, everything will be tracked in the, you will get the more logs to investigation it, right? Suppose so in your area one incident happened, right? The CBCD or police department person will come and he will start investigating in the all the areas, right? So whatever the clues and whatever the things are there, he will collect it, then later he can start investigating it, right? Same way here also, we can collect it, all the information we can, if we don't have much information, so then maybe that is the different direction in the outside of the topic. But here, if we don't have much information, we can collect it, we can enable the trace, we can enable the more trace logs, so that based upon the more trace logs, we can get more information, what happened during that time, why it is slow, why system went down during that time. So are there any network issue, CPU issue, memory issue, or any SQL statement issue, what is caused the issue? So are someone manually canceled the session? So all the information we can track it, all the information we can track it from here. This is the information we have in the systems. Okay, this is the system information, diagnosis files and trace configurations and everything, right? So this is the trace configuration. It depends, to slightly answer to your question, it depends upon the your company to follow the procedure. Suppose you want to more logs to investigation purpose, so that time you can just always, maybe few of the organization I can see this expensive statement trace is active. Expensive means long running statements, last longer than expected. So that statements will be taken, and if something goes wrong, that will be collected here. Then next time when something goes wrong in the system, so we have we should know which statement caused the issue. So then we can just analyze the issue, then what statement executed the longer duration. Based on that, we can find out the, okay, this is the statement, this is the table, this is the user is caused the issue. Like that we can find out. How you are finalizing? By we have to prove, right? We need proofs to finalize. These are the proofs actually. These are the proofs. Just you are not only telling the audio or video, just we need to submit the proofs also. So which base you are telling that this person is wrong? What is the base? What is the log file? If you have the video, we can show. If you have the audio, we can show. But in the system, right, definitely there is a log file. So we can open this log file and we can inform, okay, because of this log file, we got this error. Because of this error, we got the extra issue. Sometimes index server will have some errors, but nothing is reported here in the error as a error. Nothing is there, nothing is there. Now, so in that case, what we can do, we can enable the trace for 2 days. So let's to see what is happening with the my index server. Why sometimes the logs will not be recorded. You need more information. So you need more information, then you can select it. So you want to check all, then select it. So finish it. It's almost configured default trace. So just enable it. Then the trace will start collecting all the logs and everything. It will start. So SQL trace we enabled. So here it will clearly show begin SQL statement. What SQL statement? Each SQL statement there is a hash ID. What is the statement? This is the statement. What is the statement is executed? How much time it's taken from which user? So this is the my client IP. This is the my user. This is the schema, what you executed. So all the information, you fetched the duration. So then you selected the duration, everything. So you will get things here, everything. You have the details in the systems, everything, all the details you have in the systems. See here, what statement, what executed, who executed, all the information you have by collecting the SQL trace you collected, right? That's why this is collecting all the information. So which means we are not skipping, we are not ignoring everything. It will be recorded. Everything will be recorded in the system by checking this log files and everything. What you are doing, what you have done, what you deleted, everything will be tracked. Right? Why? Because this is a database. All the business data stores in the database. It will be tracked. Okay. So that is the thing.
And what about OM files in HANA Studio?
OM file, out of memory files, right? So in case when the out of memory dumps will be created. So in case, just a moment. Yes. So this is the way we have to enable the trace. So in case normally system will collect the system means the logs will be generated. Whenever the data comes, whatever happening in the system process, everything will be tracked under the log files. Okay. In case worst case scenario, the logs are not collecting means that time we have to go to the trace configuration. We need to enable and we need to get the more logs. That is the main. But it's not like the daily we have to go and enable it. Only rare cases. So to find out the cause, only few causes we can find out because of this issue, that is rare cases we can go. Sometimes we will get the in case memory issue. Sometimes what happens, so HANA will start, now we have the free space, free memory, everything is fine. That is fine. We don't see anything. But sometimes you will be start using the 34 GB, 35 GB, 35 GB. Then when the index server does not have enough memory, then immediately what will happen? Index server will go down status. While going down, it will throw the one dump. The dump is called the index server underscore something like dot blah 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 dot OOM. OOM means out of memory dumps. It will throw the out of memory dump. So we will come to know, okay, index server is down because of the out of memory issue. So maybe memory is not sufficient. Why the memory is not sufficient? Which process is caused the issue? Then go to the list of executed SQL statement. Which statement which caused the issue? Okay, I can see here system user, administrator, application user is caused he did from something from the HANA Studio level. based upon the date and timestamp. Okay, then we have the clues now. We have the logs to prove that one. So based on we can submit the logs to the higher management, then they will take it out, the next action item. That is the reason to avoid this crash out of memory issues, we discussed about the allocation limit. So global allocation limit in yesterday's class, right? Memory allocation limits, memory underscore allocation limits. So this one will control the memory usage. Will control the memory usage. So it will control the memory usage and everything, right? That is the thing we have to do it here in the systems. Okay. So many dumps will come out of memory dumps. Then some other trace files. Trace files are common. Out of memory when we don't have the memory, when we have the memory issues, that time memory issues means so RAM it almost 100% utilized. So nothing is there. So then so indexer immediately will go down. When it's going down, it will throw the dump, something like that. Like this, it will throw the dump in the systems. It will throw the dump in the systems like RT dump or memory dumps. In the dump, it will be clearly, it will provide the information. So what is the threads? So what information? All the information will be collected here. All the information will be collected. So what exactly happened in the system? So worker thread, one of the worker thread, statistic server related thread. So which caused the maximum more dump here. So like that, we need to start investigating the dumps and need to provide the roles. So maybe this, maybe we collected the log file, right? That is the reason it's thrown the error message. It's provided the error. So like that, we need to check the latest timestamp log files and provide the resolution on the instance. Why? Because now incident occurred, system is down, you started and you hand over the system to business to use it, they are using it. But why then you may get the questions from the customer or your manager, why system got down? Okay, one question. So you will tell like because of this reason system got down, then okay, fine. But how to avoid this type of issues? You will say like then you need the logs, right? To avoid this type of issues, then we can configure the, so some parameters we can configure it, some recommendations we can implement it, then go ahead and implement it so that next time it won't occur this type of issues. Yes. So why this issue occurred? Because of this reason. Then how we are seeking, how we are telling because of this reason. So we have the log files in the system with the date and timestamp file because of this reason. So we have this issue occurred in the systems, right? If you are submitting the log files means no one question you. Just you are telling just some story like because of this issue got occurred means so, but how can we trust whether you are telling the correct statement or not? Right? If you show the proofs like okay, you can see the log file 947 something got occurred, you can see that time and timestamp, then that way the people can assume like you are telling the correct one. This is the exact issue. So like that. Okay, these log files are main evidences in our language. Log files are the evidences to prove. Okay, it's very important. Okay, these are about the HANA Studio administration tabs. So the next one, so any questions enter HANA administration part?
And sir, where we can check the one particular user is consuming more memory?
You can sessions and threads,
Job
right?
or use.
Yeah, you can see in the sessions and the threads. So yesterday we discussed regarding the performance tab.
Only
So here,
user, right? If
yeah.
it is job.
So if here you can see I connected here and Jagadish also connected here. Yeah. So see here what I am doing here, just I am executing the statements. So here you can see how many number of queries I fetched. I 92 and Jagadish is the 84. Then how many average number of records, what he is doing exactly. So all the information we can fill out from the here in the. So if a particular job, if you go to the job progress, here you can see the job name, connection ID, all the information. If it is the thread, each person he will initiate the some threads, right? So he will initiate the threads. Then you can see the threads here. So what exactly here? So what exactly he is doing and all the information we can see it here. What user I tried. This is my user. I got the information. If you go to the sessions, just Jagadish is connected here. So Jagadish name was there. If you connected your name, if all are connected, all names will be displayed here. What you are doing, what is the IP, and what is the process ID, all the information will be tracked. What you are doing in the system, everything will be tracked here. So here we can find out in the job progress, something is in progress, the job related information you can see, find out from here. Most of the thing by seeing the sessions and threads, sessions, you will get the more details.
Actually, one time I ran the one script to check the which is consuming more memory.
Yeah. Yes, otherwise it is not giving so more information. Here we can check the live data and everything. You need you need to check the history. Last 20 minutes, yesterday what executed, then we need to execute the queries, SQL queries. So if you just right click and there is a SQL console, just execute the SQL queries here. So you just execute the SQL queries, you will get the details. Otherwise, go to the system information. So here you can just check the history of the details, statistics, some overall workload, all the information you can find out the information from here. Sessions, tables, all the information you can get from here. So otherwise, if you Google it in the outside, you will get more details also. What are the SQL statements and everything.
Okay.
So we can stop the HANA. We can stop the HANA. You can see by configuration monitoring, you can also stop the HANA. You can also restart. Restart means it will stop and it will start it again. Just you want to only stop, you can stop it here. Here it stopping means entire system DB, tenant DB, both will be stopped here. Not only one, both will be stopped here. Right? Because both SIDs are same, both will be stopped here. By default, one system DB, tenant DB, both will be stopped. We want to only stop the particular tenant. So you want to stop only the particular tenant, just you need to execute the SQL queries only. Again, execute from system DB, you need to use alter system stop database name S4D. So like that, you need to execute the query and enter it. Then the query is executing. You can see the query is executing now. So the query is executing SQL query. So now you can see here in the tab, here you can see the what it is executing and what transactions, all the information you can find out here. See, more sessions are created here. So session jobs. So what is doing here, all the information you will get from here, right? So session, I think it is executed. See here, the statement is executed successfully, which means your tenant database is stopped here. Just go to and check it out. So see here, it is stopped status. See here, database connection is not available, right? You stopped the system. Done. So like that, we can particularly stop the tenant databases and we can start the tenant database also. Just start. So like that, we can stop and we can start the databases. So our OS level commands also we can use it. Suppose you want to how to stop and start the databases. Just you can see the, suppose like example HDB space stop. So that database will be stopped here. HDB space stop. Then HDB space start, which means database will be started. So multiple ways we can use the commands to stop and start. So this is the HANA starting procedures and stopping procedures, right? So HANA start and stop procedures, right? Suppose, so OS level, if you want to check, then you can use the OS level commands. Like first we need to switch to the SID ADM, then HDB space start, then HDB space stop, right? Otherwise, we can use the SAP control command, SAP control -nr. So 00, what is the instance number? If it is a 0000 hyphen function, then start system. Okay, stop system, start system and stop system. It will be stopped. Otherwise, HANA Studio, then so connect to the system DB, right click on the system DB, then stop and start. Otherwise, HANA cockpit. So then from HANA cockpit also, we can do the stop and start. So 4 ways we can OS level, 2 ways, SAP control command or simple commands HDB start, HDB start. So how can we say whether the database is started or not? Just we can just HDB space info, then it will show the results of the any process started or not. So it's stopped. Then HDB. So now what is the memory utilization? So now we can see 6 GB utilized, 6 GB used now, right? 6 GB used. So now HDB start. Now it will start increasing that memory now. Why? Because when it is database is starting, so all the data will be loaded. All the data will be reloaded from the data folder to so main memory. So that is the what exactly the reason is behind the starting and stopping the phases. When we have the one new topic that is called the delta merge topic, which I will okay, I have only 8 minutes left. That I will explain tomorrow. Delta merge and save point interval. That time you will come to know. So what exactly happening here now when you are starting the database? See here, still it is not started. So why it is taking time? Why it is taking time? So that information, so tomorrow I will provide you, but just we can just practice the commands. So stop and start, HDB info, everything. So just we need to switch to the root user or other user, then you need to execute it. You need to execute the session. Now it is started. See here, it is started, it got the prompt. Now HDB space, so info, then you see. Now what is the wrong I executed here? Anyone can tell me?
I capital.
Right, super. So now, okay,
Here is also.
yeah, okay. So people they are executing some capital and small. HDB only capital. Remaining all are small. You need to execute. Then enter. Then you see the here processor started. All the processor started. Right? You can see all the processor started here. Right? So now just execute it. It will start the database. You can also stop from studio level, console level, then start from the studio. So that will be also fine. So that is the way we need to multiple ways, whichever is better can use that way. We can start and stop the HANA databases, right? So tomorrow we'll discuss more interesting topics. Why? Because we have some many things are left here. Backups, not only backups, we have some internal delta merge topic. It's a very interesting topic. Save point, merging, loading, unloading, many things are there that we will discuss. Okay. So today try to complete your practicing on the HANA Studio. Make the one database active. Ping in the group. So just to update in the group who are using what database, all will use the same database. Then so all connect to the same database, practice it. We have the HANA upgrades, HANA HA. For other batch, I have discussed about the HANA HA also. So cluster, root, everything. So please, so practice it. These are the basics. Please practice it. Okay.